Hey, here we go. It is 2024. Let's do this. Welcome back. Um, the weeks that you were off, who knows? Great, not great, awesome, not awesome, restful, not I mean, I'm sure the whole range of emotions about break are flowing through this building right now. But the bottom line is, we are glad you're back. And we're excited to get going. It's 2024, so it's a new year, and we're just going to jump right in. This should be a pretty short one, actually. I don't have the whole lot. A couple of calendar things and a little bit about church yesterday, and that's about it. So let me just kind of cruise through here. Couple of highlights: speech and debate club information. Please sign up for that. The robotics club is starting soon. Summer camps went out, and we're already getting tons of signups for summer camps. So get your name on the list for those camps. But so I've added this little highlights reel here to kind of give you some quick shortcuts. Obviously, you can go to these um, links up here, right? So up here is robotics, speech and debate, all that good stuff. So anyway, and then you've got your calendar down here. And so let me just scroll and you can see there's not a whole lot on there. Third quarter begins. Your new electives start tomorrow. Many, if not most, if not all, not definitely not all, but most of you have signed up for an elective, and you should be enrolled in those. Some of you didn't quite follow the directions properly, and so you are not enrolled in an elective. So if you do see a blank in seventh hour on Tuesday and Thursday, that means you A, didn't fill it out, B, you didn't fill it out the right way, so I couldn't put you in an elective. But there's still a few openings, of course, in a few of the electives. So nonetheless, just check that out. I sent an email, so I'm recording this early this morning on Monday, and so soon after this, I'm gonna hit send on your quarter 3 schedules. Of course, you can see them online as well. Dining Hall cleanup crew is right there. Elin, Eliza, Leet, Brinley, Matthew, Luke, and Mason Cack. So you are our cleanup crew for this week. Quick calendar highlight is next week. Next week is our winter map testing session. And so that's on there. The schedule's pretty much built out. Teachers will look at it and confirm it, but it's essentially the same schedule as we've had in the past. And so hopefully we get all of those done next week in these quick 90-minute chunks, and then we're done. So do what you can to be at school next week so we can get those map testing deals done. So anyway, that's kind of about it, gang. I mean, there's just not a lot for me to add right now. It's, we're returning to break, so it's getting back into the routines and the systems and shifting back to school hours and different stuff like that. Hopefully you dressed warm today. Speaking of transitioning back, shifted weather on us over these last couple of days. It's been gorgeous, and then this week looks freezing. So dress warm for recess. We will be outside all week, it looks like. So, but it's going to be cold. So dress warm. Okay, so church. So church yesterday was a little bit interesting. It was unique. Pastor Brett, who's our associate pastor, he preached on transitions, which of course is perfect for middle school. It's perfect for today for anybody in the school, teachers included, teachers and staff. And then there was a panel of 4, and I was on the panel. so I was one of the ones that were up in front answering questions on transitions. The reason they brought me onto the panel was to represent a transition of my children heading off to college and what that's been like. So they left for college, 4 or 5 years ago. My son is done. My daughter graduates in May. And then just what that is like. So I thought, you don't need to hear that part of my panel piece as far as transitions, but just transitions in general um, can be really, really difficult, including coming back from Christmas break. Some of you are super pumped, and some of you are less than super pumped to transition back into school. And that's okay. It's all right. No judgment. It's okay. That's where you're at. It's all good. And then middle school in general is a difficult transition, right? I mean, transitioning from elementary into sixth grade, that can be a bit of a challenge. Seventh grade, you're not really transitioning, you're settled in. And eighth grade is essentially transitioning out of middle school into high school. And so they're in transition, right? So you have sixth grade transitioning in, seventh grade's pretty settled, and then eighth grade is thinking about transitioning out. And that can be unsettling whether you recognize it or not, And so what you have to trust, and this is what I talked about on the panel, you just have to trust that God's got a plan. And it's a beautiful plan. It's a plan just for you. It's not a plan for your neighbor, right? They have their own plan, right? You have your plan, they have their plan. That student sitting next to you, that teacher in your classroom, they have their own plan. And then obviously so do you. So you, transitioning is part of God's plan, right? It doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, it can be really, really difficult. One of the transitions that I talked about a little bit on the panel, not a lot, is we moved. My wife and I moved. We're empty nesters, and we've downsized to a townhouse, but we transitioned out of a house that we lived in for 20 years, right? We raised our kids there, a lot of memories there, right? But I have to trust that this is part of God's plan, right? This is part of God's plan. And so, nonetheless, as I kind of tie this all up, you're transitioning. You're always transitioning. Maybe it's transitioning onto a team. Maybe your friendships are transitioning. Maybe your relationships at home are kind of going through this little weird thing. Maybe you're transitioning to a different team. There's transitions, honestly, from one class period to the next. You're moving from this classroom to the right. So we're always, it feels like, in transition, but that's all part of God's plan. And we just need to rest in that peace that those transitions are all part of his perfect plan. They don't have to be these big, grandiose transitions. They can be these tiny little micro transitions. So anyway, that's it for me. Praying for you and your transitions and the transition of being back in the building. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the halls and at lunch. Dress warm. Don't forget your jackets. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.